Hey there! Have you ever wondered how to simplify the authentication in your cloud applications without constantly worrying about credential management? I'm talking about implementing managed identities in Microsoft Azure. It's like having a silent ninja in the background, making sure everything is secure and seamless. Stick with me for this deep dive. You've likely encountered the challenges of configuring credentials and keys on every service you use. It can turn into a nightmare. Imagine the relief when you learn about Azure's managed identities for Azure resources. Instead of spinning the password wheel every time you deploy a new Azure app service, you can set these up and get peace of mind. They're built in with a handful of clicks that give your system a secure identity. Let's start with the basics. A managed identity is an Azure Resource Manager identity that represents a service's identity within Azure Active Directory, enabling it to authenticate to other Azure services without explicit credentials. Think of them as the identity equivalent of a chameleon, allowing the resource to blend in wherever it is needed, without exposing complex details about permissions. Why managed identities, you ask? Well, it's time efficiency for one thing. It's the kind of thing that keeps the old admin geezers at bay, making everyone's job easier. Plus, let's not forget the heightened security it provides by keeping secrets out of the open in your code. Today, we are going to explore setting up Azure resources with managed identities. I'll walk you through the architecture, a hands-on setup, and some insights that might resonate more with you down the career ladder. Okay, first things first, set up a resource group. Imagine you are setting up a scene in which everything is connected. That's an Azure resource group for me. It's a logical grouping of resources that function together, which in our case, we will be looking at an Azure app service. Go ahead and name this group something like Managed Identity Demo Group and set the location to reflect your data center region. Now for the app service, which Azure folks might recognize as the virtual playground for your web apps. We are going to use the Azure portal to create one. Select Create from the list and fill in the details. Remember, we'll pick the resource group we just set up. After filling out the essential details, hit Review plus Create. Let's get back to our portal and right-click the app service, choose Identity from the menu, then Reset. It's like decluttering your desk, ensuring only what's truly necessary is being kept. Azure takes care of the heavy lifting in the background, so it shouldn't take long. It's the moment of truth. Let's grant permissions to our app service to access Azure Key Vault. On the sidebar, find that Key Vault you've set up, grab it and navigate to the access policies from its menu. Hit Add a new access policy, name it something smart. Here's the important part. Under Role Definition, select App Service Identity. Click Save and give your setup a few minutes to befriend the Key Vault. If everything's on point, you should have a Key Vault configured, with Azure AD App Role assigned access to just your app service. And, because good things come in simple code, here's how you do that in PowerShell. PowerShell $secret is equal to get Azure Key Vault secret, vault name your Key Vault name your secret name $app is equal to new as app service plan, name your app service plan name, location your resource group location, resource group name your resource group name, number of workers to set as app service identity, application your app service name, location your resource group location, resource group name your resource group name get as Key Vault. Vault your Key Vault name vertical bar set as Key Vault access policy, verbose. We have a neat secret stashed in the Key Vault now, ready for its masterpiece role in the upcoming code. Next, dive into our scripts and functions in the Golang service pipeline. But before we go all the way down to the brass tacks, let's understand the flow of how these identities come alive. Our app service gets a freshly made managed identity, think freshly painted identity badge. This identity now knows where to authenticate itself for accessing Azure services with ease. Go import func getToken error, authconfigs, is equal to Azure notifications dot new service principal credentials configuration token, is equal to authconfigs dot acquire token for client with retries, nil, token cache, 1000 asterisk 1000 if is equal to nil, return 0, 20, to 0 to 305090 to 0 to 0 to 0 to 3, 20 info processor message receiver, received message. 6. Endpoint request action, https management.azure.com, resource, scope, request information, request underscore ID, 958E9905, identity request, audience, https management.azure.com, principal ID, 5E898518, trace ID, FFFFFFF. As I guide you through the setup, I want us to remember something important. Managed identities also support delegated identities, which are powerful in certain scenarios where permissions aren't directly linked. Picture them like well-trained sidekicks that have to report back and forth, always aware of their role, yet flexible enough to handle nuanced situations. They're like specialized agents in a secret organization, where you decide which tasks they're best suited. When dealing with managed identities, always ensure you are not leaving the door wide open for unwelcome guests. Managed identities use the system's credentials under the hood but are still under directorship, your control, your rules. That's the beauty and responsibility of it all, isn't it? To secure, streamline, and be in the know. Once the app is all set up, here's the cherry on top of our Azure Cloud Pie, advanced troubleshooting. Not every cloud scenario is the uptime Parthenon we might hope for, and managed identities aren't immune to the sirens of problems like unexpected timeouts trying to reach the Azure Key Vault. Here's where the troubleshooter within us comes out shining. With a detective's eagle eye for patterns or anomalies, PowerShell $status is equal to getAzroli assignment object ID $up access policy objected. For that edge case, your script needs to account for the managed identity to be a ghost. It might not always be available. Could the services go dark? What about the ghost in the shell, then? You'd use condition checks before assuming that an identity's presence is the guru in every situation it's called upon. If everything falls on track, and those tests pass, then like a virtuoso, the managed identity performs seamlessly through the authentication labyrinth, every piece in concert, silent yet significant. This level of confidence in deployment scenarios can be vital, especially when stakes and scales are at their zenith. Now, for the unconventional twisters, if a managed identity ever finds itself unable to secure an Azure service, then enter the trust fall. The real-world implications could ripple outwards, so fallback procedures, alternative authentication mechanisms, they come into play. That's our own version of the plan B to keep the show on the road. Last but certainly not the least, wrapping our maneuvers with best practices in enterprise-grade managed identity strategies is pivotal. The journey from Azure App Service to Key Vault to securing our code isn't just a solo act. When dealing with multiple applications, or even entire systems, the orchestra must be attuned, playing their roles without overstepping their bounds or missing a beat. The key here is maintaining consistency in authentication policy definitions, scope management, and security hygiene, all while ensuring the endless parade of cloud-based applications in our enterprise can move forward unabated, securely handpicked, and with a sense of harmony. There you have it, a comprehensive guide to implementing managed identities in Microsoft Azure. Not the usual walkthrough, right? I hope I shed some light on making managed identities not just manageable, but a natural part of your tech toolkit. So, if you ever want to dive deeper, or just want to get a taste for the world of Azure security, head over to neerajdots.io for the detailed articles that'll help you elevate your knowledge to new heights. And remember, if you like what you are hearing, subscribe to TechLab and become a part of the community that thinks just a little bit ahead. Let's keep this journey secure, insightful, and just plain fun.